and welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Welcome back in. Here we are, episode 329, but you may notice a little bit of a 0.5 in that title. Real quick, you might be hearing some very loud, I don't know, outside device. What is this thing called? What is a garden device? There's like a, anyway, all I hear is just this loud buzzing. This is what happens when we live in an apartment complex. You know, as soon as I press play on the damn theme song, all I hear is outside. Just ridiculous. Don't they know I'm recording? I have the world's least listened to podcast. Now the numbers are fine. Here we are, special episode 329.5. The last episode had featured the creator of the show in which these stars are starring. But now I have the stars themselves. And yeah, you can get the technicalities from the creator, like, oh, this is the, and this is the, but this is the reason you watch, baby. You don't watch something because somebody created it. Like, I'm being very mean about this. No, I'm kidding. I am talking to 3 of the 5 stars of the show, The Hunting Party, over there on NBC. Now, if you don't know what The Hunting Party is, where have you been? The Hunting Party is the TV show with the investigators who track down the most dangerous killers who escaped from a top secret prison that exploded literally within the first 5 seconds of the show. That was probably 10 or 30 seconds. 10 or 30. No one knows. Today I have for you Sara Garcia, Josh McKenzie, and Patrick Sabongui. Now, you better believe that each one of these people is somebody I've at least seen at least one time on other shows. Let's start with Sara. Sara, she was on The Flash, the last thing I saw her on, but she also has appeared on Open Season, Call of Nature, as well as a couple of TV movies here and there, and even My Little Pony. Josh McKenzie's known for Brea, and he was also on Good Grief, as well as a miniseries called The Sound. And then Patrick Sabongui is an actor that you've seen, and I know you've seen him before. You've seen him on The Flash. You've seen him on The Arrow. I think it's called Arrow. Supergirl. The Get Shorty TV show. I didn't know that existed. Firefly Lane and Virgin River as well. But now he leads this team in The Hunting Party. They all star with the wonderful Melissa Roxborough. She didn't answer my email, so it's fine. I'm kidding. And Nick Weschler. You heard me talk to JJ Bailey, creator JJ Bailey, about this show. It's a great show, high concept. Check it out. I mean, make your own decision. I'm not saying it's great. I'm just saying I enjoy the premise behind it, and I like the people who act in it. They're very interesting, and the show is interesting. Each one of us. Jesus, I'm sorry. Each one of the buzzing is, and now you can't hear this. There's a car alarm going off. I wish all of this was being made up, but it's like someone's testing me. Also, I just came back from the dog park with the dog. Obviously, I could take the cat down there, but she would not fare very well. And I get in the door, and I make a point of this to look at the bottom of my shoes every single time. Because for the past several months, people have not been picking up, in these cold months in Atlanta, people have not been picking up their dog's poop. I looked down, and I just stepped in a huge cake. And it was so fresh, and I was so mad. So I had to slam that off, wash my hands, and then come over here. It was disgusting. Pick up your dog's poop. Anyway, uh, oh God. I talked to all three of them a couple weeks ago. Sara will be first, and then Josh, and then Patrick. You should watch the video. I urge you to watch the video because at least, watch it for Patrick because it is just I do a bit. I pull a bit. I do a little bit. Anyway, if you want to check out The Hunting Party, it airs on NBC, I believe Mondays at 10 p.m. If I'm incorrect, then may the Lord strike me down right now. How do I get to calendar? What's calendar? Because the next airing will be, yep, it is Mondays. The time, I'm not going to check. Mondays, you can watch it the next day on Peacock. Check out each and every one of these actors on social media. Sara Garcia is Sara.Alicia.Garcia. Josh McKenzie, I believe this is his account, but there's not a lot of pictures of him, is YOSHIM1SSU. And then Patrick Sabongui is over there at Patrick Sabongui. As it sounds. Check it out. The Hunting Party. If you want to see a video version of this interview, head to youtube.com/C+comedy where you can see the interviews as well as every other interview. I've almost every other interview I've held. Yeah, so that's a video version of that. If you want to see a video version of the regular podcast, The Constitutionals, the Entertainment Business News Podcast, Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show, and LinkedIn Logs, the Jobs Podcast, go to youtube.com/C+comedy. Subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky at C+comedy. Follow me on those platforms at Chad Black White. Thank you so much for listening. Now, enjoy Sara Garcia, Josh McKenzie, and Patrick Sabongui. Hey, Sara, how you doing today?
Hi, Chad. So nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too. I've watched 3 episodes of the show. Congratulations! I know it's a huge step to have. You were on TV before, but to have a broadcast show on one of the main 4 networks, that's mind blowing, right?
Total dream come true. I have been dreaming about this since I started acting, and I cannot believe that it happened, and I'm so happy that it did.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and what a show to be a part of. It's like when I saw, I knew the premise going in, but when I saw that it just kind of started in that pilot episode, everybody's leaving that jail, not leaving. Everybody escapes from the jail. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, I would run, but I would run into the woods and like
Mhm.
start a little farm and live off grid. I wouldn't go on a killing spree.
Do you know how to do farm stuff? Is that something that comes from your growing up?
It's funny because I was on Ride and that was a ranch show.
Mhm.
I I don't really, but I am passionate about regenerative farming. My mom had a garden in our backyard growing up, and that's where we got most of our fresh fruit and vegetables. And I think that that's sort of been that seed was planted in me young, and now I want to go off and do it again. Maybe Morales would too if she wasn't click clacking in the bullpen.
Yeah, also, I got to episode 3 of the show, and what I noticed is there's a lot of you just reacting to like what's happening on the outside. Like you just mentioned, yeah, you're click clacking away, but there's a lot of you reacting. How are you doing that when you're hearing? I assume that someone's on set screaming, on the set, like Melissa's lines. So what is the reaction process for you when you're deciding? Oh, big eyes. Oh, I have to tell them I'm doing this.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I had never shot anything like that before, so it was all brand new to me. And thankfully, I had Nick there who had been on shows like this before, and he was just such a wonderful mentor type,
Hmm.
acting wise. But we ended up doing this really cool thing where we would block shoot all of those scenes together
Okay.
because we're usually around her station and he's behind me, and so we would just rapid fire through them. And we would have one of our very talented ADs read some of the offline, um, off-screen lines. Every once in a while, we did get lucky, and the shooting schedule overlapped, and we could have
Good.
X there, or likewise for the plane scenes. Nick was there sometimes when they needed somebody to read off screen. But it was really cool. It was really interesting to see how that all would come together and how it all translates
Yeah.
onto the actual screen in the actual episode.
Yeah, I think one of my most the dumbest thing I did was watch the screeners, and a lot of the screeners aren't finished completely. So I'm like sitting there watching something that needs to have like a screen like green screen into it, but
Oh,
all of
you
your
got
scenes are perfect.
Thank you.
I also want to, I wore this shirt because it is the same green that you wore, you wear in the
Thank
show,
you.
basically. Now, when you got this role, did you have to do any type of training in order to play your character, or was it like how did you
Yeah.
go about doing that?
Yeah, well, lucky for me, my brother was in the Canadian military and was an invaluable resource to me in understanding who she is and what Morales's career trajectory would have been like. And he gave me a workout tips.
Okay.
So I did spend quite a bit of time just resourcing information from folks that I knew had lived that experience,
Hmm.
um, and wanted to, just pay homage to those people, and I wanted to do a good job. I did learn that you're not supposed to put your hands on your hips, that's or hands in the pockets. So I really tried to remember to not to do
Okay.
that in
Why
the role.
not?
Yeah. I guess you just get made fun of. I don't, I don't know. But that was like my brother was like, "Don't put your hands on your hips.
Mhm.
Don't do
Mhm.
that." It's like, okay,
Okay.
I won't do that.
He would have hated me at the gym this morning. Every time I put something down, I was just like, God, I'm so tired. My hands were on my hips. Uh, before we go, I did want to say, I did want to mention, last time I saw you, you were Fuerza on The Flash. So it was like, this is just like a completely different one. One is super fantastical. And while this show is, fiction, more fiction than it is nonfiction, it still is very something that I believe could happen. It was something that explode or anything. But how has it been being in something that's a little bit more grounded and instead of other things that are cartoons like the My Little Ponies that you've done or the open seasons that you've done?
Hmm. Yeah, I think, something beautiful about the Flash and all the on-camera work is that I do, despite the world maybe being larger than life, I tried my best to keep my characters as grounded and rooted in reality as possible, and I sort of
Mhm.
try to cling on to something that is true for them. And for Morales, that was living in lightness despite the darkness around her and trying to bring that energy every day to work, and knowing that she is doing this to make the world a better and safer place. And we get to see that reasoning why in episode 9, sort of what her motivations really are for joining this team. um, and and the animation stuff, I get to wear my pajamas to work, so, so that's the difference there.
Yeah, that's always a good decision. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for sitting down with me. This is fantastic. I hope this show continues on. I want to see you get paid. I want to see you continue to act. So, you know,
Thank you so much.
you're very welcome. All right, you have a good rest of your day.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, how you doing, Josh?
Good, thank you, brother. How you doing?
I'm all right. Thank you for sitting down with me today. I know we had to reschedule this, but it's all good.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Gave me some more time to pretend to prep some questions.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just learning time zone differences. So yeah,
Oh,
we
really?
figured it out.
Okay. Hey, no problem. Where are you right now?
I'm in New Zealand right now, and
Ah,
I
New
was in
Zealand.
I was in Australia last time, so I got a bit confused.
Okay.
Yeah.
I completely understand. I've never been to either one of those continents, but I assume everything is it's just somewhat better over there compared to here.
Yeah, it's subjective, you know. Yeah, I certainly love it down here, but I also love it over your guys' side. So you know, it's a mixed bag, you know.
How do they compare? What's the food situation like over there in New Zealand and Australia?
Australia is like got a great like culinary scene. You know, I've got a place in Melbourne, and that's like their food scene's amazing. Like
Mm.
really, really good. Great like Mediterranean food. Great kind of Lebanese. We've got like a big Lebanese, Greek, Turkish hub. So great stuff like that. Yeah, we're pretty good, man. Like and I lived in LA for a bit and I've been to New York and stuff like that. And
Uh,
it's good food, but we compete, man. New Zealand, not as much. Like you know, we're a very small country. But yeah, Australia kills it food wise. Yeah.
I bet, do this is gonna sound disgusting, but are kangaroos do you just you eat them or do they just hang out there or do you fight them?
No,
What's
no,
going on?
everything, all of the above, man. They
Everything.
just hang out. Some people like to pick fights with them,
Okay. Good.
which I would not recommend. They are gnarly. But yeah, they're a delicacy. Yeah, I mean, there's like kangaroo burgers and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because they're similar to deer. You
Mm,
know, it's the meat's a bit wider.
okay.
And they're a pest as well. So you know a lot of like deer populations become pests, and
Yeah.
so it's incentivized to hunt to kill the pack and all that kind of stuff. Same thing with kangaroos. You know,
Oh,
in
cool.
order for them to survive, they need to be killed.
Okay.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
makes sense. I mean, I only ask because I have a dog and a cat, and for the dog, there's they do have some kangaroo based food for them, and it's
yep,
super expensive. And so I was wondering if it was a delicacy or if it was just something special or what.
yeah. No, no, it's a pretty lean meat. I think that a lot of people eat. Yeah,
Okay. Well, next time I buy the bag for them, I'll have to give it a taste.
yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Well, and, also I want to say congratulations on the hunting party. It's I think it's a great opportunity for actors to, especially who are lesser known, like you and Sarah, to be paired with people like Melissa and just live on a broadcast network where possibly the most eyes can see it, and hopefully after a good Peacock run, then land on Netflix and have the worldwide see it too.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's so grateful to be part of such a cool team, you know, like such great people as well. I think that's the key thing, you know, and piecing together an ensemble for a procedural, specifically a procedural, um, is so important. You know,
Mhm.
getting that dynamic right, and thankfully we all hit it off from the get-go. There's no weak links. It's all just yeah, smooth sailing, man. So one of the most fun shows I've been part of for sure, and you know, hopefully we get picked up again and we get to do it again. That'd be fun. But yeah, having had the experience is enough.
Right. I know you from La Brea, so I saw you for 30 episodes there or however long that show lasted, and to see you on this show, not I feel like there's more sets here as opposed to the green screens that La Brea had to, I assume, use because it was such a fantastical show. And now I'm getting to see you kind of work off in the field and use your hands and do things that I think will really stretching your actor muscles.
Big time. Yeah, I mean, this is the show where I mean, I like reading it and reading the character and all that kind of stuff. I was like, oh, this feels a lot more like natural to me, a lot more like effortless in a way. Like more tactile, more. You know, I'm a very physical person. You know, I've trained a lot and like got martial arts background and stuff like that, and I've trained with weapons and all that kind of stuff. So for me, it was like, oh, cool, I get a chance to do this stuff now. Whereas on the Brea, it was the off chance. Every now and again, I'll slip in a little wrestling move, or do a little like three-piece and soda. But aside from that, like not a hell of a lot, just more like brooding and being a bit of a dick. So yeah, the hunting party's great, been a great experience for that. Get in the streets, dealing with grittier stuff. La Brea was very big, and as you said, a lot of green screens, a lot of acting off of tennis balls, and people dressed in blue suits. But still, the sets were incredible for La Brea. Like they were giant, like big theme parks. But the intimacy of the hunting party sets I think is a completely different world, and I really like that. I really like, going in, and there's like a crime scene, and it's a small space, and it's moody, and then you got the cowboy bar, you've got, the
Yeah.
private jet. Everything is like, everything's in a cell, everything's contained, and I really, really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah, a good change.
Contained, I think is a great way to put it. Because you're right. I watched I think NBC released a promotional video with a tour done by Patrick and some of the
Yeah,
other cast members of the sets and everything. But when I saw that plane for the first time and I realized where the snacks were, I mean that's where I would
yeah.
be hanging out too. I'd be reaching
Oh
back
yeah.
there, picking up snacks, eating every single take and ruining every
Yeah,
single take with how many bags I had to
yeah.
eat of
I
pretzels.
was constantly getting told not to eat so much. I got pops being like, dude, we haven't got that many. I'm like, well, I'm sorry, man. Like, Shane's hungry.
Yeah, you're a growing boy. You've been training with weapons.
Yeah,
You're burning off all the
exactly.
calories.
Yeah.
When did you feel like you and the cast had come together and really become this unit where you could go out and deliver these lines and work together consistently? Because I know, starting from the beginning, from the pilot, I mean, it's got to be tough where you barely know some of these people, you've seen them on screen, and then you just kind of have to go from there. What's that situation like for you?
I mean, luckily for us, it truly was. I mean, that's the word I keep using is effortless, like, there's always effort, but it's good effort. It felt very, there was no resistance, if that makes sense. Like our relationships were lubricated from the get-go, we're just good people. Everyone has a feeling out period of like, oh, is this guy gonna be a dick? Is this guy gonna try to be like alpha? Is this gonna,
Yeah.
like what's going on here? Is there egos involved? All that kind of shit. You know what it's like. But none of that, man. Like everyone's so open. Patrick he's a acting teacher, a professor, and he loves the craft, and just everyone loved what they did for work, and I think that's tech number one. And we had a couple of weeks prep, and it was mainly me, Melissa, and Patrick. Obviously, we're the core unit. We're all,
Yeah.
every day, all day, and we were having rehearsals to start with, and it was just like that. Yeah, no egos, no nothing. And then Nick and Sarah are just such awesome people as well. Like
That's good.
and Nick has a crazy sense of humor, which I absolutely love. And so every day with him, we're just wetting our pants laughing. Even though we're, hunting serial killers, it's very dark.
Yeah.
It's just so much fun. And I think sense of humor, for me anyway, sense of humor is such a big thing. Like I mean, my relationship with my partner is all based on sense of humor. Like everything, there's nothing we can't laugh about, and that to me is a good relationship. And that was the same with everyone there. Like we're just making fun of each other, hanging out like old friends, and we'd only met like a week ago.
Nice.
So that was yeah, a big part of getting the ensemble right, and it was easy. Yeah,
I
thankfully.
guess. Yeah. Was there ever a point, because I know with these procedurals, there's always like, oh, you watch Law and Order SVU, Benson gets mad at Tutuola, and there's and it seems tense, and then everything is maybe resolved by the end of the episode. But has there ever been a point when that happened, you're like, holy shit, and Patrick's mad at me, Melissa's mad at me. Has it ever happened when you were shooting an episode?
I don't think so. I mean, we all, everyone goes through stuff during a shoot that long and being away from family and stuff. So,
Yeah.
and I think all of us had a really high EQ, so you could just kind of like pick up that things were like not tense, but like, someone's struggling a little bit today, someone's missing their family, something's happened, because there were things that happened to all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, so it was never like shit. So it was more just like, oh, someone's having a bad day. Like,
Mm.
let's go do something for him. Let's go. I'll go to the snack bar and go get him a snack or like bring him a present, you know. And Melissa's really, really good at that. I mean, she's such a great center point for all of us. She's such a like a caring and generous person. She will always try and make someone feel good if they're feeling a little shitty. So I think having her as like, you know, camp mom. She'll hate that I said that. But it was super important. You know, that and having a sense of humor. So no, there was never really any tension or anything like that.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's awesome to hear. Josh, thank you so much for talking to me. Congratulations on the show. I hope there's more. You're a good guy. You seem fun, and keep bringing that positive attitude, man. You've got this.
Thanks, Chad. I appreciate it, brother. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Have a good one. Patrick, before we get started, I do want to let you know I am a Flash fan. This is
Hey,
this is something I hastily drew 5 minutes ago. I will
I can
not
see
be
that.
wearing it throughout the interview, but because it makes me look stupid. But I just want to let you know.
I think it's hilarious, and I appreciate the fandom. I mean, if you were really committed, you'd have it emblazoned on your sweater, but I'll take the reasonably hand-drawn facsimile of it.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Well, congratulations on the hunting party. I mean, I've talked to a lot of the cast. I talked to JJ about it, and I'll tell you what I told them. It's amazing how such a complex concept can also just be boiled down very quickly. The premiere just starts. We're in the shit right there from the get-go, and we're
Hmm.
ready to do this thing. And there's too many shows and streaming and broadcast now that just waste time. And I'm like, no, let's get to the thing. The
Yeah,
place blows up, and we're in it.
yeah, yeah. I love that about it, and we do pack in a lot. There's like the whole premise of this maximum security prison slash research facility slash human laboratory,
Mhm.
uh, and but then there's also the inner life of the bad guy and the serial killer that we're trying to chase, and who they are and why they did what they did, and trying to get out ahead of them. And then we got a private jet, and then we get rent a bunch of SUVs, and then we're shooting folks. Like, so much happens in so little time, and I think it's really satisfying.
Yeah. And I was just editing JJ's interview, and one thing he mentioned was how much camaraderie you guys had on set. And he said like you guys got together on Sundays and did your own table reads and things of that nature. And whether it happened once or it only happened half a time or it happened 10 times, that's still something that you don't see with new shows, but especially with shows with casts that also are in different areas. Like Sarah's character just doesn't really hang out with you guys a lot because you're out there in the field doing your own thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, yeah, thanks for bringing that up, because I mean, you never know how much people want to know behind the scenes and stuff. But um, yeah, the truth is, we got real tight real fast, and it's genuine. Like, we really enjoyed spending time and hanging out. I
Mhm.
think Tor Freudenthal, who's our pilot director, kind of created this sense of camaraderie in those very few rehearsals that we got before shooting, where we got to just hang out and spend time together and read that pilot episode together multiple times.
Mhm.
And I felt like it was important for us to carry on that tradition. We got so much out of it. And it's exactly what you said. Nick Wexler and Sara Garcia's character are holding down HQ while, Josh, Melissa, and I are running around catching bad guys. And so the weekend table reads was an opportunity for all of us to hear the story, to actually be present for each other and see, oh,
Mhm.
I see what you're doing back at HQ. I see what you're injecting, how your character feels about my character, and
Right.
that's not something I'm going to get on set when the script supervisor is reading that dialogue. So those meetings, on weekends, I thought were critical. We did it most episodes, a couple episodes when it got really hectic and we didn't have much time off, because I also love to cook, and so I'd have people over and I'd spend 2 days prepping and cooking, and I'd make a really elaborate meals, and that was just a joy for me personally. But I thought it really translated to a better knowledge of the arc of the story
Yeah.
and stronger connection, even if we weren't sharing the space on set all the time.
Okay. You can't just dance around the cooking thing. What kind of meals were you getting ready for everybody?
I made a Jamaican curry chicken
Yeah.
one weekend. I did a birria tacos another time, which it takes, there's like so many steps and it's pretty
Yeah.
elaborate. What else did I make? One time it was like a chicken sandwich situation, but there's a lot of layers and components to that too.
Yeah. It'd be really funny if you're just like, peanut butter and jelly, just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
eggs.
Pizza. Yeah.
Just
Peanut
made the
butter and
easy
jelly.
stuff.
Yeah, knowing me though, I'd like get raw peanuts and try to churn my own peanut butter and
Oh my gosh. I noticed you were a stunt performer or you've done some stunt work before this. When you got this show, when you signed on to do it, was there any like thought of you wanting to get back into more of an action style scene so you can say, I'm gonna do some front flips, I'm gonna do some rolling, do some shooting on my own?
um that's an interesting, you know, dimension. I've always loved playing very action-oriented characters,
Hmm.
just because I don't know. When you're a kid and you're running around playing cops and robbers, you just throw yourself into the whole story. And you're climbing trees, you're running across the street, but then you're
Yeah.
also, drawing the schematics in your, neighbor's basement and inventing the whole scenario. So, like, for me, playing characters that are physical, it's just part of the performance of it. It's part
Hmm.
of embodying those characters. Um, I, you know, a great career as a stunt performer. Uh, but to me, the distinction is it's kind of up to other folks. Like I love being able to do all aspects of
Hmm.
what's required of the role. It's like theater, also.
Yeah.
If you're playing Tybalt, you don't do the dialogue and then drop your sword, run off stage, have your stunt double come on, pick up the stage, and do the sword fight. Like you, you got to acquire the skills to tell the story that your character is telling.
Mhm.
So I love stepping into those environments. I love working alongside the stunt team. What I don't want to do is deny a stunt person who's been hired that day the opportunity to get work.
Right.
I'm not trying to tell production, "Oh, I'm going to do my own stunts. Don't hire somebody." It's a team effort. It's a collaborative effort, and I don't have an ego about it. I don't need to be doing all my own stunts. And at the end of the day, what we end up doing, I think what most folks end up doing is the stunt team does a version and I do a version. And
Hmm.
depending on the actor's comfortability level, their version could be more or less risky. I tend to enjoy the riskier versions, but then again, that's up to the director and the production to how far they'll let me go.
That's a good way to approach it. Where when you speaking of approaching for to play this character or to play Captain Singh or really truly anybody who has to be on a more intense side, how are you finding that? Because I noticed you have like a really good like gruff face, like we got to get this
Yeah,
done, like things like that.
yeah.
I wouldn't be able to take myself seriously, but for somebody like you, what's that? How do you get to that point?
Acting. It's tough, man. Like that one of the things. Uh, uh, some stuff comes naturally, and
Mhm.
you can just kind of play yourself in the situations. And sometimes you have to dig in, do work, and uh, apply the mask uh, and lean into the transformation of how is this character different than I am. Um, and then appreciating the stakes. I
Mhm.
think if you don't allow yourself to believe the stakes, it's harder to find that groundedness and that gruff exterior.
Yeah.
But then if you just sit down for a second and go, listen, this dude has seen some shit overseas. He's been like he says in the pilot, he knows how to deal with evil. He's been around it. I think you have to develop an exterior shell. And if you take a second to imagine what kind of armor you have to be able to put on as a human to be able to take lives and put people away and to witness the things you've witnessed, then it's easier to step into that and to
Mhm.
appreciate the stakes.
Okay. That's a very very smart thing to say.
Mm.
When when you are on set and when you're with everybody, um, what is what's the point where you're on this green screen, you're on a set, you're in the plane set. Um, what do you guys do in between takes to keep everything lively because you are doing some real serious stuff?
We, I don't know if you can swear on this podcast, but I'm
Oh, of
about
course.
to.
Say whatever you want.
Yeah, we fuck around a lot.
Okay.
We joke around a lot. We're just ripping on each other. Melissa and Josh and I, cooped up either in the car or in the plane set or wherever it is. Even when we're back at HQ with Nick and Sarah, and it's all five of us, like there's constant jokes flying. I think we try to keep it profesh also. Like when we're about to roll, like we try not to delay production a lot, but we genuinely enjoy each other's presence, and we have a lot of running gags. We also do, to keep it fresh, um, we play little secret games during the take with each other sometimes, where we give each other little like blocking challenges, or if you can work this imperceptibly into the scene, and
Mm,
uh, so we play around a lot, even though the subject matter is so dark, and maybe
yeah.
because some of the subject matter is so dark that we try to keep it light between us.
I love that. You guys are doing a great job. But Patrick, I think that's our time.
Great,
Congratulations on the show. I
thanks,
love it.
Chad.
I think you guys are doing a wonderful, wonderful, excellent job. Let's bring back the Flash. Let's go.
Let's do it. Yeah, reunion.
Any
Let's do a crossover. Flash
anything possible.
hunting party crossover. I'm up for it.
All right. You have a good
All
rest of
right.
your day.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah.